please welcome Bill Brown.
Thank you very much for coming. A lot of familiar faces out there, and probably not too many of you were here when Jeff arrived in the trade with the Red Sox, with Larry Anderson going the other way, but we quickly found out that he was going to be an outstanding player. Didn't know in those early years about the Hall of Fame part of it, but he's been among the hardest workers who's ever been in this club in the history of it. And as you know, the weight room was named after him, so that tells you a lot about what he achieved in his career. But the thing I'd like to do, Jeff, is as you look out at these faces, and many of them are familiar to you, is just reflect a little bit from the standpoint of those of us who have been in the media throughout your whole career and how cooperative you were and always cordial. And a little bit later I'm going to talk about how you and that guy and Brad Ausmus and some other people had this unofficial rule in the clubhouse that you would sit in front of your locker after the end of a game until all your obligations had been completed with the media. And everybody in this room who's in the media really, really appreciated that. Just want to tell you.
Thank you, Brownie. Appreciate that.
And then that expanded to the entire ball club. And, of course, there were many other solid citizens, the Billy Spires of the world. So they didn't need any direction, but the young guys got plenty of direction. And it was not only about what he did on the field, but that tone that he and his teammates set in the clubhouse that I think has extended far beyond his playing days and will continue into the future to set that kind of a Hall of Fame tone. And now I'd like to introduce our newest Hall of Famer, Jeff Bagwell.
Thank you, Brownie. And, Houston, certainly on TV, is going to miss you. You have been a pleasure to be around and just a class act. And I could not be more happy, more importantly, just to be your friend. You know, I do sit in here and I'm kind of a little bit overwhelmed. I mean, I got kid is right there in front of me. Obviously, a huge part of where we are and where we're sitting right now, and what we kind of laid a little bit of a foundation for this club, which I think is spilling over to the new kids that we have now. I look at my family, my wife, my daughters, my son, and just family. And, you know, it's a very, very special time. And I'm just, you know, to be honest with you, I'm just overwhelmed. This has been a whirlwind since Wednesday. And just to be here and appreciate the fact that, you know, I never really thought about this. It's the honest God truth. I remember when I was a kid and watching Channel 6, which was staticky, and then my father and I would have to go on the roof of a one-story house and find a way to try and get the Red Sox game in. And, you know, what it became part of a family. And what I've learned through this process is that, you know, maybe we did some things here that were pretty good that kept families hanging out, you know, at 7:05 and, you know, just watching us play. And I just, sometimes we don't appreciate it. I think with all the stuff that's gone on in the last few weeks, and especially the last 4 days, it's just something that I treasure, and I really didn't think that much about myself or whatever. I just played baseball, but it's just been something special that I treasure.
Questions?
Yeah, what do you think the next, now that this maybe it's sunk in a little bit, the next few months a little bit, I know you like to live life as normal as possible, but just as far as your obligations and your thought process going forward in July?
Yeah, Tags, I have no idea. You can ask him back there, 7. What I've heard is it slows down until you get to July, and I'm really cool with that because it's been crazy, but I'm excited, and shoot, man, we've been traveling all day, so it's just fun to be here.
Jeff, you said the other day when we talked to you that it really had to hit you that you're in this building with the greatest of the greats. That's been a couple days. Has that hit you?
No, not really. I did get a phone call from Tony Perez today, which was pretty cool. Nolan. I mean, we all know what Nolan means around here. You know, obviously I've talked to Craig, and it's, I mean, I don't get this whole thing. I mean, I just did what I was supposed to do, and to somehow, some way, is the pinnacle of just like a player. It doesn't get any higher than this. I wish we could have done some more things to bring a championship here. That'd have been really, really fun. But we did our best. Sometimes it wasn't good enough, but we did our best.
Jeff, you touched on it a little while ago, how much this means to the fan base. Have you kind of wrapped your brain around what this means? We saw huge crowds with Craig travel up to Cooperstown, and they were lining up here before 4 o'clock. Have you kind of put that into perspective, what this means?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, Craig, I remember walking down the street in Cooperstown and looking, because, you know, we've changed back to orange, and to see all the orange and how much support Craig got, that was cool. I mean, like I said, I think a lot of times we don't look at the magnitude of maybe what we've done for people, which I'm not even sure what that means. I mean, I got 5 kids, man. I'm trying to find the magnitude of that. But to watch what happened with Craig in Cooperstown a couple years ago, that was a little staggering to me, just to see that much. That maybe baseball is a little bit more than like people really think, and that it does bring families together, like it did for me watching the Red Sox play. And I'm not trying to take anything away from, I'm sitting here as an Astro, but for my life when I grew up, that's what it was. And if I did that, or if Craig and we did it together, kind of, you know, made something nice for people, that's a pretty cool deal.
Another question? Jeff, AJ Hinch the other day mentioned you had expressed interest in coming back down to spring training again. Mm-hmm. Just curious, down the road, is getting back into coaching, even, you know, whether it's not full-time or part-time or advisory role, is that something of interest to you?
Yeah, I think more advisory role. I don't think that people realize what coaches actually go through. It's pretty much, nowadays, it's like 11 to 11. And then you have road trips, so you don't see your family. And I mentioned earlier, I got 5 kids. I mean, I got a lot of, and I got 4 girls. There's issues that I have to deal with. I can handle him right there. I can handle him. But the girls, man, it's a different deal, because I am a little bit of an alpha male, and to deal with everything that I have to go through. But being a coach full time, probably not. But an advisor would be probably something better. And you can ask Reed. Reed's right back there. You can ask him what he wants me to do.
Have you gotten used to putting Hall of Fame with your signature yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It kind of works out, because when you put HOF 17, it kind of goes easy. I was trying to think of 16, probably not the easiest thing, but you know, it's been fun. And you know what? Like I said, I don't take myself that seriously. And you know, I talked to one of my best friends the other night. We were watching the Patriots play, and I was like, "Dude, man, this is ridiculous. I mean, seriously, Hall of Fame? I mean, that's like Ted Williams type stuff. Kari Stremski. I mean, that's crazy stuff." So I take it in stride. I'm trying to soak it in. Have I got it yet? Probably not. But I know I'm sitting up here, and I've had some bad games in the playoffs, and I've had a lot of people sitting in front of me, but this is something special for me.
Jeff, you're on the ballot for
what, 7 times. Did you find the last couple of years more stressful than seeing your number continue
Absolutely
to go?
not. Randy, absolutely not. No, because I really didn't think about it. This year was a culmination of everybody's like, hey, man, you got a really good chance of getting in. So 3 weeks with my wife and I, like I said, I'm that alpha male, but I'm the irritable guy walking around the house, mad at everybody. And I just, it was just such a strange feeling just to walk around and think, everybody's like, hey, you're going to get in, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, but what if it doesn't happen? And I think a little bit of, I don't even know if this makes sense, but like half my life is half empty, but yet it's half full too. So I'm trying to think of the worst first, but also think about being full. And that's what happened. And that was cool. I just, man, it's this, like the last 4 days and the last 3 weeks before that were very, very interesting. And, for me, all the phone calls, all the love, my kids, they would sit there and tell me my stats, and I'm like, how did you know that? Y'all didn't see me play? But they started to get involved, too, because they're classmates and all that kind of stuff. So I was just kind of like, oh, God, man, I hope I don't disappoint them. But like I said, it worked out, so it was cool.
Jeff, how special is it to have a lot of different people from different eras, parts of your career here with you tonight, today?
It means a ton. These are people that I've been with that, obviously it's very easy for me to talk about Craig because we spent 15 years together. But really, to be honest with you, 25 years. I know his kids, I know his wife, I know where they go to school, everything in the entire world, as he knows mine too. And to build what we have built here and to see my friends, teammates are a little bit different because you really, really do spend more time with your teammates than you do with your family. And just everything. Good times, bad times, just what we've been through together in that amount of time is just very, very special.
You watched growing up. How much have you interacted with him over the years and being able to share the stage with him in July has got to be something that's beyond your involvement?
I've been doing a little bit of lobbying about, because Yaz, I think, has only been back to the Hall of Fame twice. He went back for Carlton Fisk and Jim Rice. So I'm doing a little bit of lobbying to try and get him there. But he was everything that I wanted to be. Yaz is my size and got every single thing out of his ability. And he was just something that, man, that was Yaz. For me, my interaction with him has been wonderful. I have a picture of him and I together. He's just something. The biggest thing in my household was, from my father, was Ted Williams, who my father got to meet him and hang out a little bit with him. And then for me, it was Yaz, and I got the same opportunity. That's all you talked about in my house. When you were Red Sox, that was it. You can forget those Yankees. We want no part of those people. That's just the way it is in the East Coast. Certainly didn't have any clue what the Houston Astros were, except for one dude, your father. Everybody knew who Nolan Ryan was, but other than that, I didn't know what Houston Astros were. I was thinking about tumbleweeds and horses. Well, let me tell you something. That is not what Houston is. So it's been a lot of fun and really enjoy it.
Jeff, your father says that he's thrilled that you're still alive to see this happen. Reflect on that.
Yeah. My dad has told me, and see, this is where it starts to get a little weird. He's 89, just turned 89 on the 17th. I really do believe he is still alive to see this. He's been walking, doing stuff. You know, he's always told me, he said, son, you don't want to get to 89. Nothing works, everything stinks, and I'm like, well, I said, Dad, I don't know, man. I got stuff for all that kind of stuff, but you know, he's such a big part of me. And as I said earlier, I walk around mad. I don't really think my dad walked around mad, but I was scared to death of him. He never did anything to me, but that was my dad. And, you know, I called him twice this weekend. Said, Dad, you all right? And I called him, actually, to be honest with you, I called him prior to this whole deal to make sure. I mean, he's had a quadruple bypass. I said, Dad, you all right? And he, I guess I can say this, he hates everyone on the MLB network. Because he said, all they do is say bad things about you. I said, Dad, if you watch it every day, they're not going to change their opinion. I said, just relax. It's going to be okay. I said, the votes were done by the first of the year. I said, so it's over, so don't watch. But certainly my dad is, my dad and my mom, who we just spent a couple days with. I mean, you know, it's everything that anybody's ever wanted in their life, and I've had two of the greatest parents of all time, and I try to do the best that I can be that same parent for my kids.
Jeff, that kind of leads me into my question, to represent your children that you always talk about. To stand up on that stage and represent them and have them there to share it with you, what will that be like?
It'll be pretty, I don't think. I mean, you all know, man, and I don't, this is not something that I sugarcoat or nothing. I mean, my kids and my family and my wife, and we're still missing some here. I mean, they're everything to me. It's what I live my life for, to try and be the best I can. And sometimes I'm not. But I do the best I can to be the best father I can be. And for that day to come, hopefully it's not quite as hot as when Craig was up there. But it'll be very emotional for me.
Any other questions? What advice would you give to the younger kids that strive to be like you?
Don't quit. Biggest thing my father ever taught me, don't quit. If you're going to start something, and you can talk to these kids right here, if you're going to start it, I'm not allowing you to quit. My funny story about that is the worst job I've ever had in my entire life was I was a dishwasher at Friendly's in Cape Cod. I should have quit that job. It was awful. My teammates would come in and they'd eat their hamburger or fries, which Friendly's has good fries, and then they would take the ketchup bottle and they would write like not nice things to me because I had to go clean everything. And they didn't have dishwashers like they do now. Put it this way, it was tough. But that was their biggest thing that my parents instilled in me is don't ever quit something you start. If you're going to put your effort into it, you can't quit. Just get better, but you can't quit. And that would be my biggest thing that I would say to a kid. Hey, man, I mean, to be honest with you, and Brownie probably knows the stats, I mean, I wasn't that great. I was great in Little League, like really good. And then I stunk after that. I was okay in high school, but I just kept going, and I was very, very fortunate that I just got better. But if you don't quit, if you do quit, then how are you ever going to know? So I don't care what you want to be. You want to be a firefighter? You want to be a doctor? You want to be whatever. If that's what you want, give it the best you can. And we'll see where the cards lay at the end of the day.
Well, our time is up now. Thank you guys for your questions and for your attendance. Jeff has to go to another function. We hope to see you over next door as 6 o'clock arrives pretty soon. Thank you so much. Have a good day.